Coming up with toy ideas is always fun, and over time, it gets easier and easier. But vetting ideas that you've come up with is the trickiest step of all. And why is that? Ego. We all love our own ideas more than anything. We think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. So today's episode is for everyone listening today that believes with their heart and soul that they have the greatest toy or game idea perhaps since Monopoly.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to FanGirl Friday Live. My name's Anita Castellar, and this is FanGirl Friday Live. Every week, we unpack the business behind the fandom. We talk to friends, family, colleagues, anybody who really talks to us, essentially, because we like to just chat with people. But, this week, we are bringing in my good friend, Azhelle. Wait, hi, Azhelle. How are you?
Hi, Anita. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Of course. So, Azhelle, tell us who you are and what is it that you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm now known in the toy industry as the toy coach, but before that, I had a whole 10-year career in the toy industry. I started as a designer, worked my way up, clawed my way up to VP at a toy company, and I just essentially developed products my entire career, just designing products, developing them with China, figuring out plans for how we could market those products, making sell sheets and PowerPoint presentations and all that. And it's a lot of fun. And now what I get to do is a mix between like education and entertainment and product development. So it's awesome. Yeah.
So when you say you clawed your way up, was that really difficult, or was it just it was difficult?
No, yeah, it was totally difficult. I mean, like at first it was hard to just pay the bills trying to have this job in this career. I remember having like a box of microwavable instant rice at my desk for like the longest time. Like that was my meal. And like for years it was so bad. So it was hard. It was a grind. I had to do a lot of things to make ends meet, but then eventually I had enough notoriety. I got some patents under my belt, and I was able to leverage my experience and get paid a living wage.
Wow. So I want to hear more about that for sure, especially the patents, right? But let's throw it back. Let's talk about how little Azhelle came to be a designer, worked in the toy industry, and let's start off with fandoms. Do you have any fandoms?
Well, yeah, I guess salsa dancing is my fandom. I don't know if
that's
that
your
counts.
jam, huh?
Is that a thing that counts?
Yeah, I love it. It's
when
music.
I think fandom,
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Then yes. Salsa dancing, bachata dancing, Latin music, I guess, is my fandom. Yeah.
But I think we might have a little preview of that. How'd you come to be into salsa dancing?
It's actually like a crazy story. So I had a car accident, a really bad one. Got hit by a Mack truck. Crazy.
Oh wow.
Crushed my car. So then I started having these back pains, and no matter what, they wouldn't go away. And then I started getting sad because I couldn't like go out, I couldn't run, I couldn't do anything physical, I couldn't walk for long periods of time. Wow. And one day, a good friend of mine was like, for my birthday, I'm having some people, we're going out, we're gonna go salsa dancing. Do you want to come? And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. And so I went with her, and I had so much fun dancing with her and her brother. And like, I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I need to learn how to like properly do this. And that was it. After that, I took classes, and it actually helped with my back pain. So I think that's also what kept me going back. I think the doctors were saying that I was like building muscle around my back.
Yeah, the core.
Yeah, so that it was maybe helping the pain. And now when I stop dancing, it comes back. So it's terrifying, but yeah.
It's a good reason to dance through life.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, salsa dancing when I started, I was like, this needs to be a weight loss routine. Like there should be a weight loss program around salsa and bachata dancing, because
it's called Zumba.
But no, like that's not the same. That's not the same. I'm telling you, I've done Zumba, and I have been salsa dancing from 5 p.m. to like 2 in the morning. Not the same. Not the same. I would create a different program.
Well, maybe that's your next venture after the toy coach. You should do that, because I would sign up for that. I love it. Yeah, no, I love salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, like all of it. Like, yeah, and we have some really good friends here that we've known them for quite some time, especially I'm calling you out, Joelle. Joel
Wait,
Perez.
Joel Salsa?
Sorry?
Joel? Not Joel.
Joel. No. He's a friend of
Okay.
ours. He's a really good friend. He's amazing. If you ever watched like Come Dance With Me with like Cheyenne, like that movie Dance With Me with him and Vanessa Williams. Oh, you would love this movie. It's
Really?
so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about like dancing and all of that. Like that's how this guy dances. So I'm gonna send you the movie link. You're gonna love it. Yeah. It'll get you inspired to continue to do your salsa dancing.
Yeah.
Even in your living room as you're recording your toy coach podcast.
Yeah, we do. You know, my boyfriend and I during the pandemic, we took a video from YouTube of like, they take videos at all the salsa clubs. So we took a video from one of the salsa clubs and put it as a background on Zoom and then like danced in front of it. So we were like, it feels like we're at the club.
you're at the club in the big screen. Like, I love it. It's the background. That's the new multimedia experience. I love it.
Yeah.
So as you discovered your love of salsa later, but how did you discover your love of toys and toy design? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, yeah, I guess that happened. Well, it happened way before. Yeah, way before the salsa. So I always knew I was going to work with kids in some way. Okay. I always wanted to work with kids. I told my grandma, my sister that I wanted to be a teacher. And then my sister brainwashed me and told me that they don't make enough money. So I eventually decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. So then I thought I would be like a child psychologist for a while. And then I watched The Sixth Sense and I got freaked out. And I thought, like, if I do something wrong, they're going to come for me. That's what I thought was going to happen. So then I was like, okay, what else can I do? Then I went to high school and I started taking like arts classes. So I liked creating things with my hands. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe there's something here. But all of that actually ended up leading me to meeting this woman who studied exhibition design at FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology. And I met her at like a summer camp. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do what she did because I love her and I love her portfolio. I just want to be like her. She seems happy, you know? And so I did that and I did exhibitions with like a children's focus. So I would do
like children's museums or something like that.
Yeah, like I designed a bunch of things. Like I designed this like big white tent with like a light show inside of it that would play off of like Twister. Like the people would come into the tent and press buttons like Twister to create a light show on this tent.
That's fun.
That was the idea.
Interactive.
Yeah, and then one of my teachers
still do that.
It is a good idea, right? It's a good idea. I have ideas.
But I think people at Hasbro might be able to, contract you to do that for Twister.
Yeah. I have the whole floor plan, the 3D model and everything. I actually plan on posting it on my social in a couple weeks, but yeah, I have it all done. So I'll let them know. Hasbro, I'm ready. I got you. Yeah. And then
you did that.
One of my teachers was like, there's a major here called toy design. And I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound like it's going to make me any money. So I'm not going to do that. And he was like, no, like they make money. Like it's a real career. I was like, I don't know. I was very skeptical. And then I did research and it said that they had like a 98% job placement rating. So I was like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
I can get behind
boy thing. I don't know. Pass by night kind of career.
Yeah. What is this? I don't know. So that's what happened. That's essentially what happened. I just went in, I met the head of the department. She liked me. I liked her. I worked really hard. I was like the bottom of the barrel, honestly, in the class. Like people were so ridiculously talented. I had to work so hard to keep up. Like the head of the department even knows me to this day. She's like, we would tell you there was stuff wrong with your projects and you would just put your little hoodie on and put your headphones in and you would just work until you fixed it. And I was like, yeah, because I needed to survive.
Yeah. I needed a job. Like I needed a way to get out. Yeah.
So that's it. I got placed with a job. And then from there, I just kept on going.
What was your first job?
Horizon Group USA. I was like I was a part of their new, what would they call it? Like inventor group. Like they wanted us to be like a blue sky group.
Okay. So, like R&D kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's why I got all the patents.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about your patents.
Well, I was just named on 3, as well as like everybody like else
named on 3.
Well, I know it took years and an ex-boyfriend to tell me that it mattered that I had patents. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so one of them was for like a screen printing device. It's called Zip Screens, and it is essentially like, imagine like a ketchup packet with a styrene sheet behind it. So there's paint inside instead of ketchup. So you'd like tear away the top, and then you squeeze out the paint, and the styrene sheet spreads the paint on a screen print on a screen. Wow. So you can make a really fast like throwaway screen print, and it was awesome. Really simple concept, and I was so proud.
It sounds cool, like an artsy crafts things.
Yeah, yeah. Everything I did was crafts. The other one was like a friendship bracelet creator, and it was a friend of mine at that company. She was a jewelry designer. So one day I sat down with her and I was like, okay, tell me about all the different ways there are to make jewelry. And she explained all of the different ways, and she showed me all the different tools. And I was like, okay, well, what if I took the top off this tool and put it on the bottom of this tool? Would you still be able to do that? And then she'd be like, well, yeah, I guess so. And then that's kind of how we did it. Like, I'd be like, okay, well, what if I did this? Like, can you do more things now? And then she would just test and tell me. And that turned into actually 2 patents, because that turned into one for like one basic version and then one for like a travel version of the same product. Yeah.
So, as we go along, we're talking about patents, and you and I understand what patents are, but if you want to give like a quick primer, on what patent and how are they important in toys and toy design?
Yeah, I guess a patent is essentially a document that states exactly what your invention is and how it functions, and gives you the rights to that invention, so nobody else could technically reproduce it without without owing you money, I guess, without getting in trouble. Yeah, so no one else could legally reproduce your work. So yeah, that's a dumb layman's version of what it is. That's helpful.
But so you have to like file that with the government, right? Like you take your idea and you do what with it, and how do you file that? Like, how do you make sure that nobody can, take your idea?
So when I got them, I was at a company, so they did all the hard work for me. I just had to like sign the paperwork and like put my address in and be like, yep, that's how it works, and like, all the easy stuff. But I have filed like provisional patents, because before you file a full patent, you can file a provisional patent, and essentially it's like $100 to put in like images of your invention, a description of it, and yeah, file it with the government, just to hold your idea, so that nobody can develop it or nobody else could kind of steal it from you for a year. Right. With a full patent, I've never actually done the whole process myself. I wouldn't want to, and I don't advise everybody to jump right to patents just because they're so expensive. Yeah. Like tens of thousands or $10,000 to do a patent, and then if you want to actually defend it, I've talked to so many lawyers and engineers, and they're all like, you're looking at $150,000 to defend if somebody infringes on your patent. Yeah. So it's like, if you're not a huge $1 million company, is it really worth it for you to invest in that? And for toy inventors, most of the time, if you have a really great idea that a company wants to license, they're going to want to patent it to protect it from other people infringing on it, because it's now there. So yeah,
I think that's interesting though, because not a lot of people understand what it takes to kind of talk about toy design. Then how do you protect the idea as an individual, right? Yeah. These giant corporations, they're always protecting their properties, their intellectual property, their physical property. We don't think of designs themselves as actually intellectual property, but they actually are. And so all of that needs protection, whether you're the little guy or the big guy, all of that needs protection, because that gives us a business advantage over other people, right? Other competition, if you're a company, another toy company, those types of things. And they also protect your idea if you're a little guy. So, that I know that you've gone throughout, kind of your career talking about toy design and almost like an ambassador for toys and such. So tell us, I think you were working with maybe Toys R Us at the time when you were tell us a little bit about that. And I think we have a photo for that too.
Oh yeah, so this picture is actually from a photo shoot I did at Toys R Us for one of their products. This product was my pride and joy. It it was a little desk. It was like a little desk, craft desk for girls to be able to like do all of their crafts on. So it was important to me that I incorporated all of the things that a little girl would need to do her, or a little boy, he could be on his pink desk
that's right.
to do their crafts. So like pockets for your beads, places to hold all your paints, places to hold your paintbrushes, but like specific compartments, a ruler built into the dress to measure the desk to measure your bracelets and things. And it the thing is, when you're working for a major retailer like Toys R Us, what I was doing is I was working on their private label products. So that's usually like their opening price point products. So this desk had the Black Friday sale for, I think it was $24, $24.99.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cheap for that.
It was so cheap. So I had done so many different versions of it. It started out as wood. At one point it was like a tabletop. And then eventually what happened is I went to China, met with the factory, and we're going over the price. And I'm like, this price is not going to work. And then we looked at all of the products that they had in their showroom, and we found these like tubes. And the tubes were actually intended for like a kid slide, but we used them to build the base of this desk so that we wouldn't have to create a new mold for a majority of the desk. So a majority of the desk is made out of these tubes, and then there's just like this cap lid. And then it was just a challenge of like stability. Like I literally would get a sample of this desk, and I would be like, oh, I need to cut out like $2. So I would just be looking at like, okay, what tube can I remove without affecting the structural stability of this desk?
Yeah, so it doesn't fall over.
So I'm like removing tubes, like one short tube or like 3 short tubes to add 1 long tube, and like adding, like the shelves were just like styrene sheets that snapped in place because I couldn't afford the extra pieces to add to it to make it like have a holder. I mean, it was and I was like fighting to keep things. Like I was like, no, we need the hangers to hang your jewelry, so we're not losing those. I'm gonna lose something else. It was a journey.
That's what toy design, that goes into product design and toy design. I mean, in general, all product designs, if you have a specific price point you have to hit, meaning the retail price point to the consumers, there's a wholesale price point, or an at cost piece that has to be met. And it may be fun, but that's the balancing act. Like what is it still fun for the kid, or is it still serving the promise of what the product is supposed to be, balanced off with how expensive or how cheap does it have to be to make company money? Because in the end, everybody has to make the dollar, make the financials and all that stuff. It's and it may be fun, but on the other hand, it's still a business and it's still a job. But your job is to balance those kind of pieces together in order to make still something that at the end parents love the value, it's a good price, and the kids have fun with it. Right. I mean, or big kids or little kids, doesn't matter if it's, your 25-year-old kid or if you're a 5-year-old kid. But in the end, the product, that's what we do. Like if we're in design or product development, because I've done some stuff in the past, or if you're like still licensing it out, which we do now, it's like you still have to fulfill a promise to the consumers at a certain point. And that's hard.
Yeah, it was, but it was successful. I remember it sold out real quick. And it had good margin, like really good margin for a Black Friday product. So I was proud. That was a moment for me.
That's good. Is that like your most proud piece that you are of like the things you've designed, or are there others?
I don't know. I mean, I guess what I'm most proud of that one, why I'm most proud of that one is because I did everything involved in it. Like I did the design, and I helped pick the models, and I helped like refine the packaging. I even had to do like the pack out for how all the pieces were going to get packed out to like, fit in like a certain size box. Like, I did so much. So I guess I'm proud of it in that sense. But I mean, zip screens was like pretty cool too. Like that idea was like, the way that it came to my boss and I at the time was so fast. And it was like, I don't know, that was a great moment too.
That's pretty cool. So then you're at Toys R Us, you're designing craft shelves and tables and what have you. You move along. What came next in your career path?
Oh yeah, then Toys R Us shut down and I got laid off. So
the ever laying off situation.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I was very calm at the time. because they were like gonna pay us for I think a month or so. So I was like, that's okay. But then I was like, that's fine. I did a stint at Party City, and then I ended up at Creative Kids, where I was actually brought in as a brand manager, or maybe a senior brand manager, I don't remember. And I was doing that for like 6 months, where eventually I got promoted to the VP of their product and brand team. And then I hired a bunch of people and helped them build out a bunch of systems. And I built so many products. I don't even like know how,
Wow.
but it happened. Yeah, so many.
That's cool. So Creative Kids, tell us about the company and what exactly, if people don't know, what exactly do they do?
So Creative Kids is another arts and crafts company. Like I just do arts and crafts like my whole life. It looks like, I don't know, I'm like the Black Martha Stewart. But like, so Creative Kids is an arts and crafts company. They're based in Chestnut Ridge, New York. They sell, you'll see their stuff like everywhere, really, like Five Below, you'll see it at like Target. And what I did is I went in and I took their brand, Be Me. And I got the opportunity to completely reimagine the style guide of it and redo. I mean, yeah, it was an opportunity, but then it was like, oh wait, we have to do this to all of the existing products. So I got to redo the style guide and then apply it to like all of these products, right? And there was a team, they have a huge team, like they're a big company. They're a big, small company, right? They have a team in China and they help do like roll out the artwork, but then it was like, I'm one person building a style guide, so there's not every detail's not considered. So they'd send packaging back and be like, that's not right. Like, please, like, can't be that logo, can't be that big. Mm-hmm. And it was great. I mean, like I got to create a line for them, a new line for them called Craft Vibes Only that went into Target. And first of all, that name, I'm so proud. It was like a shining moment for me, coming up with the name. And then the branding like looked very like beachy and fun and like earthy and just different from anything I'd normally do, because I like to make everything like bright and loud. But so that's that company. It's a good company.
That's great. So why did you leave that company to start the Toy Coach?
Well, the pandemic hit, and I mean, I really enjoyed working from home. It's
nice to work in your stretchy pants, huh?
It's nice. I mean, I also so there are a couple of things. Like the pandemic hit, and then I'm staying at home, and you're working all the time because now there's no clock out, right? And it just became more evident to me that, oh, I'm working for someone else's dream, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know why, but something about being home made me like really realize how hard I was working for somebody else's dream. And it's like, yeah, you do that at every job. Like that's the thing, but I don't know, for some reason it got more real. And then what also bothered me is I started imagining my future with my boyfriend and thinking like, oh, what if we want to have kids one day? Like, what will that look like? Like, I'll just never be home because I'll always be working. And am I like, will I make more money? Because like, I don't think that's possible. And like, I don't know how, I don't know. So I didn't really love the trajectory. So I was like, and then I started saving money because of the pandemic. I wasn't going anywhere. Right. So I was like, now is probably the best time. Let me try and see if I can make something happen. And I did.
Yeah. So did you just like say, hey guys, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm leaving and I'm breaking out. Like, how'd that conversation go?
Yeah, surprisingly well. I was like practicing. I had a script. I was so nervous. Wow. I was like, they're gonna be so mad. And then because I mean, it's a small but big company. Like, they do big volume. They do a lot of product, but the team in the US at least wasn't that big. So I did a lot of work. Right. So I was nervous to be like, I'm leaving. But my boss at the time really didn't say anything. He was like, okay. He was like, thanks for letting me know. And then I was like, okay, that's it. Okay.
Sometimes it's interesting that we give so much to our jobs, and not to disparage the companies or anything like that, but we give so much. And when, it's time to either restructure or do layoffs or we're leaving, we think that it's such a big momentous thing. Yeah. And then they're like, sometimes you feel like just a number on the page sometimes,
Well,
you know, and
yeah,
you're like,
sometimes.
but I thought I was like the most like, you know, I was employee of the month and I had the parking spot and, you know, and then it turns out you're like, maybe not.
Okay, you're right. I
Yeah.
mean,
Swipe,
I guess there
swipe
was
right.
one other. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Swipe right
Yeah,
instead of
right.
swipe left. Yeah. I don't know.
I think he did tell me he had a feeling because he was
Mm,
like, so I think that was also why he's like, yeah, you
okay.
were so excited about your podcast. He was like, I had a feeling. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you launched the podcast while you were still at the job.
Yeah, I told them I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do. It was opinion based, right?
Yeah.
So it was the first couple episodes, especially, were very very opinion based. But people like my opinion, so
So and it grew.
yeah, yeah. And
So okay. So okay, the other part I wanted to ask you, and this may be relevant or not, but as a woman of color, having clawed your way up to VP level, you're in a secure job, everything's good. You know, did you
yeah.
have any backlash from your family when you said, "I'm leaving this secure job and moving on"? Some of my friends, and myself as
Mm-hmm.
well, you know, when we've decided to break out and do independent things or be
Mm-hmm.
actually in the toy industry, our
Yeah.
families didn't understand.
Yeah.
They thought like, what are you, crazy? Like, this is a secure
Right.
job and all these different kinds of things. And those types of like mentality of breaking out or taking risks, or especially with your income, are for
Mm.
those people. They're not for us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we don't do those
Mm-hmm.
things. That's rich
Right.
people talk or whatever it is. Did you
Right.
get any kind of feedback like that from anybody in your
No.
circle? No, that's great.
Not at all. My mom was an entrepreneur my whole life, or is an entrepreneur
Oh,
still.
okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
my sister was actually like, when are you gonna like listen to the universe and quit your job? And I was like, you
Interesting.
need to calm down, Amaya. I was like, calm down. But she was very adamant. She was like, can you just, I don't want to talk about this anymore. She was like, can you just do it? Thanks.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
is it always like your whole family has been like an entrepreneurial like mindset, or just your mom, or how'd that work out?
Yeah, my dad worked for the state. He's a like a corrections officer, and my mom always had her own business. My sister, I guess she did like a mix of things, but now she owns her own. She owns a couple of Dominoes. So yeah, I guess it's yeah. Actually, yeah, I should say yeah. And my mom's side, especially my cousins, they're all entrepreneurs. Like I don't know if they've ever had a job, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's super cool. That is very
yeah,
interesting. Not my
yeah,
experience, but you know, I've no, and I love that though, because you know,
yeah.
I've shared before on this live stream and in other places where my mom told me to go get a job at the post office because that was secure job, right? You know,
Yeah. Oh
being a Puerto
my
Rican in
gosh.
the United States, you know,
Oh
she
my
thinks like, you
gosh.
know, you need a government job because my dad also worked for the government. You know, that's
Yeah,
secure. That's 401k. It's
it is.
retirement.
It
It's,
is.
you know, this and
Or
that
it
and the
was.
other. And here I am working at Disney theme parks, and she's like, go work at the post office. So, you know, God bless her. She came from a point of, you know, love. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
I've had this other friend as well. She's Asian, and her parents were telling her similar, you know, things like go work for the public works or whatever, because they think they don't understand what we do, and they don't understand the toy industry, and they don't understand what licensing is, or, you know, toy design, and that there's an actual real
Right.
career, comic book design, like all these different kinds of things that are real things and real careers that people can flourish and survive and raise families doing this stuff. So, you know, now the grandkids are okay and she's all right. But, you know, she's like, you know, it's still like, I like to highlight, you know, people who do what we do, and especially with people of color doing what we do, because, you know, it's all about education as well and showing career paths, you know, to being a toy
Yeah.
designer, like for a woman, it's hard enough. For a person of color, sometimes it's a little bit more extra work, right? Not
Yeah.
so much easy to get, especially in your family's influence. But if you don't have that issue, that kind of alleviates the burden. I feel like I would think that would alleviate some stress.
Yeah, but I think it creates also a lot of doubt because I feel like my family is a little bit too, I don't want to say positive, but they're too like yeah, you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Ah,
And I'm
uh-huh.
just like, but you know, there are some limitations here, family. Like let's be realistic. They're not very, they're very like, yeah, you can do it. like everything I do, like, oh man, it's amazing. Like, just like, yeah, like then I don't know.
Thing. That's
Yeah.
really cool that your family's like, yes, everything is a yes, yes, and
yeah,
yes, and
sure. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes. Yeah.
That's cool though. Yeah, I guess it could create other expectations and other like stressors.
Yeah.
So what about the toy coach? Does that create stressors for you?
Oh my God, like so many stressors. Like right now, I'm planning this virtual pitch event that it was just an idea that came up in a conversation while I was talking to somebody at Jazzwares.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, you should just like do a little pitch event. And I was like, okay. But actually, at first I said no. And then when we got off the call, I was like, okay, I'm going to try. And I invited a couple of companies and then like they all said yes. And then I invited a couple more. I don't even know why I kept inviting people because it's just creating a lot of stress for me. But like I kept inviting companies, they kept saying yes. And now I'm like, okay. So now I got this like spreadsheet on, or this board on my project management tool of like all my students and all the stuff they're about to pitch to all these companies. And like, it's cool, but it's also like, what have I created?
Yeah.
Create a system to manage all of this. I just was trying to do a little Zoom meeting, little tiny, I don't know. But
a little pitch event, you know,
yeah,
for toy inventors to these giant companies.
for my students, you know, I wanted to help them and not be an agent because I didn't want all that responsibility. I wanted to focus on the education and then just give them an opportunity. But that opportunity turned into a whole thing.
So you started a podcast called The Toy Coach.
Yeah.
You started, you know, with opinions, but then also inviting, you know, several industry people. I get your weekly notification of your podcast every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always great. From there, how did you expand to have students? Tell us about the student piece.
Okay. So I've been studying online marketing forever. And in that studies, I came across the idea of like creating a course to educate people. And that's what I did. Like I took a lot of the stuff that I learned myself from school with the stuff that I learned in my career, and I combined it all up into like, and essentially it's like a school, right? It's like a curriculum. Yeah. And I take my students through that curriculum through over a certain amount of weeks. The first time I launched it, it was 7 weeks. The second time it was 12 weeks. I'm not sure what it will be the third time. Got to see what works best for everybody. But yeah, I take my students through all of my lessons and I take them through all of the guides, and I essentially am helping them develop better toy ideas, but better in the sense that they're more informed. Like they're not, that they are designing with a price point in mind, that they are looking at what's existing. Because I just
more
saw
solution oriented.
Yeah, solution oriented. And if you're not going to be solution oriented because maybe it's not a solution as much as just a gap, I don't know, like then you have to at least really know who your market is, right? You really got to know who that ideal target market is and not be vague on that. But I also teach inventors like how to pitch. And that's why this pitch event's happening, because it's a part of that course as well, where I'm teaching them like, okay, when you pitch something, don't come to us and be like, so this is a cup, but it could also be a bottle of water. Like that's not a figured out concept. Yeah. Like you have to pitch one idea at a time. Yeah.
And by the way, there are other bottles of water in the universe. Like why is yours
better? Yes, that too. Yeah, that too. So it's so much. And yeah, so then I launched it initially before I even created it. And I said like, hey guys, if you support me doing this, I'll give you access to this course as long as I have it. This is the price, buy it. And they bought it. And then I made it. And now I'm remaking it because now I have like over 50, I don't even know. I have over 50 students. And now I'm remaking it. Yeah, I'm remaking it to make it better for the next launch. And yeah, it's doing really well. Everyone that takes it really feels like they were pushed forward, like they feel clear on what to do next, and they feel empowered to do those next steps. So that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's great. So the Toy Coach is like the overarching kind of brand. It has a podcast. In the sub brand, in the sub activities, there is, you call it the Toy Academy, right? And that's where this curriculum takes place.
Yeah, it's called Toy Creators Academy is one of my courses. So it's like the Toy Coach has like all of these digital offerings. So one is Toy Creators Academy. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There
And so
others
how
will
do
be coming.
okay. So
Oh.
how do you, and then we're showing right now also on the screen, on Instagram, by the way, folks, that you have a new piece. So a new subscription piece to the Toy Coach. So what is that?
So that is my private podcast feed. So I've been playing around with a couple of different ways to offer like ongoing toy support. And there are two different people that in the market, like they're at two different stages. There are some people who are like really early on and want guidance, but aren't really sure if they're how much they're gonna invest in it. And they're like tentative, you know, and that's who this is for. So if you like think you're interested in the toy industry and you want to dive deeper, but you're like, I don't want to spend too much money. Like, I just want to kind of explore and experience, like this is for you. So what I did is I created 4 parts. It's a Toy Coach's private podcast feed. So you get access to that. And in that podcast feed, I'm going to have extended episodes of my podcast. There's a lot of really good information, some information that I just don't feel comfortable releasing publicly, and some that's just like so good that I'm like, we're going to save this. So that's like, that's in the podcast. And then you'll also get access to like video interviews. So my podcast is all audio, but I do the video recordings of my guests now. So that's going to be available as well. And then you also get an option. So I'm going to have these bonus podcast Q&A episodes. People have always wanted to just submit questions and just get answers. So the cheapest way to do that for the listeners, but the most effective way to do that for me and my time, is that you can submit them in the course platform that you'll get access to, the membership platform, and then I can answer them in a podcast episode. So that's what you'll also have access to. And I also started a Clubhouse club room.
Oh my gosh, now you're Clubhouse too?
I'm everywhere. So there's a Clubhouse collective room, and that's where we're gonna eventually move the live Q&A so that it can be live and you don't have to like submit. But that's once it gets bigger. Like once enough people are on Clubhouse and get there, but you get access to it now, right? So if you are on Clubhouse, then we can hang out. But if you're not on Clubhouse, just wait.
I gotta fire up my old iPad and see if I can get in because Clubhouse folks, I'm calling you out. Android users right here, you know, PC users, like that's all me.
I have an Android phone. I use my iPad.
I'm going to have to see if that still works. Haven't actually turned it on in probably a couple years, but I'm interested in the Clubhouse.
You mean your iPad's too old?
Well, I don't even know if it like turns on anymore. I'm going to have to see if I can charge it. Do I even have an iPhone charger? I don't even know. So but that's interesting that Clubhouse launched on iPhone considering the global users are all Android, but you know.
I mean, I think that the exclusivity is what's driving their popularity.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
I think
it's smart. It's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
And developing apps, like you have to do it a platform at a time, right? They're all so different. So they probably were like, well, just focus on this platform.
Yeah.
It'll give a vibe of exclusivity, but we're really just finishing it.
Well, let me see if I can fire up my iPad and then I will join you on Clubhouse.
Yes.
And all of the other toy people that happen to be on Clubhouse, because that seems like, you know, I hope it's not a flash in the pan. That's what I just hope it's not that. Because for those people and for all of us. Oh, really? Why is that?
Like, do we need another one? Like another social media platform? I mean, so I love podcasts because people structure the information in a way to deliver it to you efficiently. And then you can also 2x it while you're listening to like speed up the time that it takes you to learn something. And Clubhouse, like what drives me crazy is like, you can't do that. You just have to listen and there's nothing visually for you to build off of. So for me, like it's not my favorite platform, but you know.
Well, you know, we got to be where the people are, right? If we want to take our message to the people, then that's kind of where they are. That's why I did the live stream. Like I wanted to take this message about you, toys, licensing, fandom, pop culture, you know, just all of it, mash it up like, you know, like you did and kind of put it out there and put it out to the universe and see what happens. So, okay. So the Toy Coach, Toy Academy is one piece of it. You've got the new behind the scenes and exclusive feeds coming in.
Yes.
What else is next for you? What else are you trying to dabble in?
Like a vacation, I think. next. I'm hopefully, like, God willing, we'll get this like TV show we're pitching picked up, but we'll see. I don't know.
You're pitching a TV show?
I'm not. Somebody else is. I'm just involved. I'm just involved. I'm just there. I'm just involved.
Is it about like,
I can't say anything else.
Pick the winning toy design or something like that. That might be kind of fun.
I don't know.
There was a previous show. I think it was sponsored by Mattel. Was it a Mattel show?
Yeah, was the toy box.
Yeah, that was really fun. I don't know why it kind of went away.
It wasn't that popular, I don't think.
I know, but it was fun. It was good.
Yeah, it was fun. So, I mean, really, I would love that to happen, but I just love to have time to like dive back into like toy work. Like it's so much content creation. You don't get time to like make the toys anymore.
Yeah. It's interesting that I'm glad that you bring that up, because last week on my Ask Me Anything, I talked about why I hadn't actually done a live stream for a little bit. And I didn't realize how tiresome that, content creation can be. And this is not even my day job. Like, this is just something I kind of work it up, and my friends happen to agree to come on, like you, and it makes it easy. But really, content creation and being thoughtful about it is really time consuming. I mean, I think you would agree.
Oh my gosh. Like I think it was like 2 days ago, I was up till like 5 a.m, just like writing. Cause like, I mean, I don't turn on my podcast, like my mic, and just like record off the cuff. Like I very strategically plan what we're going to cover and the order in which we're going to cover it, because I want to make sure that it's digestible and that you're learning in like in a gradual, like sequential way. So it's not like if I just rambled, it would go all over the place, much like this interview. But but no, so like that takes time. And I have to tell people, if you're listening and you or if you're watching and you listen to my podcast, tell me you love it, because when people text me or email me after I've like stayed up all night writing an episode, it makes me feel so good, because I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, all that work, all that stress is not for nothing.
Yeah, content creators need validation, folks. Like we need to understand that we're not just yelling into the void. And the void's the only one listening.
Or you turn it on and you're like, what is this trash? And you just turn it off. Like we need to know.
Don't tell me it's trash, please. Just tell me it's good.
Tell me it's amazing.
Well, in the spirit of continuous improvement, we do need feedback on what's not so good and what is great, and what other kinds of pieces of content we'd like to create, so what else would you like to create then? Speaking of that, like what else, as far as content, right? I mean,
well, as far as content,
and then we get into physical stuff.
Okay, I do have an idea and I want to do it. I don't know if I should say it though, because then it's everyone's idea.
Put it out to the universe. Everyone's
I don't know. I just have an idea for a YouTube channel, around toys that would be comical and not educational. But I want to do it because it's like it's based off another YouTube channel that I watch, and I'm like, this would be really funny done for toys. So I really want to, but it's like I have so much going on, and that's just for fun. What's the purpose of that? I don't know. But I really
was the podcast for fun, right?
Yeah, the podcast I wanted to educate people.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't create it on a whim. It was just kind of like, let's just do this. It was like, no, I really have a purpose behind it.
Yeah, I had a purpose. There was a plan. Like I'd met somebody who wanted to pitch something to me at the company I was working for, and she just didn't know what to say and what I need to see. So then I was like, there needs to be a resource, and I was like, maybe I should just make one, and then that's what happened.
And there you go.
Yeah.
If it's gotta be in the universe and it's gotta happen, why not me?
Yeah, I was like, I just want to tell her what to send me, and then I did it. So then I wonder if she listens to the podcast now.
Well, you should tell her that she's the genesis, right? She's the initiator of that idea. I bet you that would be an interesting conversation.
I know. I can't remember her name. Yeah.
So what else have you got planned for this year? Kind of COVID survival. Are you gonna do Halloween again? I think we have one of those kind of fun moments.
Yes, I do Halloween every year, even in COVID. Yeah, I do Halloween every year. So the pictures that I sent you, I was Ash Ketchum and my boyfriend was Pikachu. So by the way, I met this man and he is definitely my soulmate because he loves Halloween just as much as I do. And he's all for the couple costumes. So we were also Miss Piggy and Kermit.
Oh my gosh.
And then this time for COVID, we didn't want to spend a lot of time doing anything because we didn't know if we were going to go outside. But I did have an old Cruella de Vil costume. So I was Cruella de Vil, and then I also sew because I have a costume company on the side. So I sewed him some fur pants and a fur like tank top, and he was a puppy. And we put Sharpie marker all over, and I sewed us both fur masks, and we looked fabulous. But yeah, I love it. So I love Halloween.
First time I'm hearing about this costume company on the side. What is that?
Oh. Well, okay, I started that years ago. The costume company is the reason I know how to do online marketing. And yeah, so I have like all this. I'm gonna make a funny TikTok about how I still have like so much inventory for my costume company. But I wanted to make like colorful clothes for curvy women. Oh, that's a good line. I should have said that. Oh, damn. Okay. So I never said that line before, but it was colorful clothes for curvy women. Oh my God. I can't believe I never said that before.
Talk about a marketing tagline.
So my like key piece was these like sequin, mermaid sequins.
Yeah.
They were popular right before they were popular in the toy industry. I had been in the fashion district and I saw them. So I bought them and I put them on the front of these leggings. So that material's not stretchy. So the back of the leggings are spandex and then the front half is this mermaid sequins. And I did them in like green, I did them in gold, and people just like loved them. But everyone online thought they were too expensive. I didn't know how to target people online. I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned a lot of marketing stuff from doing that. So I still have it. And like every once in a while I'll get like a sale on Etsy. Someone will buy, but I literally have like, now I have like very little left of the good stuff, but there are some like colors schemes that people just don't want. Like I had American flag one. I had, this like unicorn tie-dye one, which the tie-dye runs, and that was a terrible purchase.
Oh, cropping. That's not good. Yeah. So. Bleeding. That's not good.
No, I didn't do my
we could talk all about like the failures of products. Like that could be a whole nother live stream of like, don't design it to do this, use the right materials, use the right inks, that's a whole nother like what not to do in toy design. Yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
Yeah. We should do
what not to do.
More episodes. So please come on my podcast.
Well, we can talk all day long. We're getting to the end of this. It's usually, kind of goes by. It goes by fast. It really does. And I always love having everybody on. Please come back again and, hang out with us again. I'm sure there's something else that we could talk about in the near future. One more podcast or something that you're working on, or a TV show. Who knows, you're launching by that time. No. Netflix, watch out. And so, tell us again, where to find you, what are your social media handles, what is it, that people want to follow you on?
So at the Toy Coach on Instagram, I'm on Instagram the most. And then other than that, I would say go to thetoycoach.com if you just like want to poke around and see what you can find. But if you're like, oh my gosh, that private podcast feed sounds lit, go to club.thetoycoach.com and then you can find out about that private podcast feed.
Yeah, that's a different website than the toycoach.com.
It's a subdomain.
Okay, so but if you go to the Toy Coach, you can click through.
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Online marketing.
I'm a one-woman show. I launched it 3 days ago. Okay.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I'm gonna do it right after this. I'm gonna get on there, add it in there real quick.
Well, Azhelle, thank you for joining me and laughing throughout this whole time, and let's having a good time. By the way, if you haven't figured it out, we are also Women in Toys co-colleagues and on lots of various platforms together, and swimming in the same circles. So if you're interested in toys and being in the toy industry as well, licensing, entertainment, please join and look at Women in Toys. Happy to put up, links and such like that on our LinkedIn pages or on our Facebook pages or Instagram as well. But find them. They're a great organization. We are both part of that organization. That's how we actually connected and how I've been able to launch and promote my company, and Azhelle as well has had some success there. So it's a great community. If you're interested in toys, you don't have to be a woman, but if you want to be a woman and if you want to support women in toys, then join us in that organization. And that's my shout out to you guys. So happy Fangirl Friday, everyone. Thank you, Azhelle, again for joining me. And we shall see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.